So what's up, guys? Today I want to talk about some very interesting question that I ask myself all the time these last 2 weeks or not. And the question is, can pain therapy or pain exposure therapy actually treat psychiatric illnesses like schizophrenia? So there are two parts of the brain. The first one is called the anterior cingulate cortex, and the second one is called orbitofrontal cortex. These two parts of the brain are responsible for primarily three functions. The first one is impulse control, the second one is error detection, the third one is pain sensitivity. So in schizophrenia, these two parts of the brain are actually kind of broken. So we have either overactive excitability in those parts of the brain or underactive excitability. We also have either too much GABAergic inhibition or not enough GABAergic inhibition. We also have too much neuroplastic connections, synaptic connections, or we have a lack of plasticity, a lack of synapses in those parts of the brain. And that, of course, can cause certain symptoms of schizophrenia, like impaired reality testing, absent emotions, flat affect, lack of error detection. Because if you cannot find errors in things, if you cannot see when something is wrong or when something is off, you're obviously going to develop delusions, because delusions are just a lack of reality testing. And reality testing is mostly done by error detection, not noticing when things are right, but noticing when things are wrong. There might also be a lack of dopamine in those parts of the brain, or there might be too much dopamine in those parts of the brain. Either way, there's an imbalance of either neurotropins or neurotransmitters, or there's some other problem with nutrient or ADP transportation, or a lack of ADP altogether in certain parts of the brain, responsible obviously for error detection and pain sensitivity. And that is what brings me to my next point. What if we can enhance those parts of the brain, not by trying to make a person solve or see errors in things better, but by simply increasing how they process pain? What if we can, for example, increase their pain sensitivity, and because their pain sensitivity is higher, also other parts or subparts of those same areas now work better or even more excitable? There's more likely or not that those parts of the brain are hypoexcitable rather than hyperexcitable in psychiatric illness like schizophrenia. Even certain types of autism have an abnormality structure in those parts of the brain. So what do we have to do? We have to primarily focus on two things. Number one is pain suppression, pain inhibition. We can do this by increasing GABAergic inhibition in those parts of the brain. The way we increase GABAergic inhibition in those parts of the brain is by introducing a mildly unpleasant stimuli and then trying to ignore it. Training your brain, therefore, to filter out painful information or sensations better. So the second way we can do this by simply exposing ourselves to more pain or more types of pain. That way, these two parts of the brain can get more possible signals or more types of novel signals or more types of painful signals in order to enhance overall excitability of those brain parts. After those brain parts have higher pain sensitivity, we can actually test how they process reality, or reality testing. This can be done by tests such as negativity error detection tests, which actually test how much errors can a person spot. Obviously, practice makes better, and therefore once a person has higher pain sensitivity and higher pain inhibition at the same time, those parts of the brain overall function better. They have more neuroplastic connections, they have more GABAergic synapses, and they have more excitable synapses. And therefore, the brain parts responsible for error detection can be now practiced better, simply because they have enough excitable voltage in order to be exercised. So yeah, that's what I think. That is one theory, one possible way we can treat schizophrenia. Although let me know what you think, guys, because this theory, although it sounds insane, it sounds kind of ironic, maybe it's the reality, or maybe it's just a complete fucking nonsense. So yeah,